Have you ever dealt with someone who constantly turns the conversation back to themselves, or someone who never takes responsibility for their mistakes? You may be dealing with a narcissist. And in this video, I'm going to share 10 classic signs of narcissistic behavior that you shouldn't ignore. And the reason I wanted to make this video is because I had a profound realization that someone very close to me is a narcissist. And their narcissism was in front of my face the whole time. I just never realized. I didn't connect the dots. And it wasn't until recently I found out that this person has been smiling in my face while I do nice things for them. Like I go out of my way to do nice things, and they accept my kindness with that smile on their face. But I found out that behind my back, they had been talking some shit. And the reason that they were talking shit behind my back, based off what they were saying, I realized that what they were doing is they were manipulating a certain narrative that made them look superior, because on the inside they actually feel inferior. So I wanted to make this video to help other people spot narcissism, because in my experience, it's kind of gone under the radar with me, with a number of people. Like, it's taken me a while to have these realizations that I've had this narcissistic energy around me. So the first sign to look out for is an inflated sense of self-importance. They exaggerate their achievements, talents, or status. They believe they're special and unique and should only associate with other high-status people. So they think that they're above everyone else. They're superior, they're better than everyone. And so if you notice someone has that inflated sense of self-importance, that is a red flag. The second sign to look out for is a constant need for admiration. They crave excessive praise and attention, and if they don't get it, they may sulk or act out. And this was happening to me with a narcissist that was very close to me, where when I was out in public with this person, I noticed they had to be the center of attention. The spotlight had to be on them. In their presence, I wasn't allowed to speak. I wasn't allowed to have any attention. I wasn't allowed to have the spotlight on me. They were trying to keep me in the background. And if I finally got some attention and was able to speak, they would find a way to redirect the attention and spotlight back to them. So that's the second sign to look out for. The third sign is a lack of empathy. They struggle or outright refuse to recognize or care about others' feelings or needs. Narcissistic people are not capable of empathy. And I had an experience with this, with someone that I was dating, and we were only like 3 months into it, and then I injured myself. And when I injured myself, this person had no empathy or compassion for what I was dealing with. This person I was friends with for 5 years. So there was a 5-year friendship, and they couldn't even treat me with empathy, compassion, decency. They couldn't even show up as a friend. Like, I was injured and in pain. They would come to my house to see me, but they wouldn't even offer to bring me painkillers, because I had no painkillers. I physically couldn't go get myself some painkillers. But they never offered to help, even just with small things like that. So a lack of empathy is a huge one to look out for. The fourth sign is exploiting others. They use people for personal gain, socially, emotionally, or financially, without guilt. Again, this happened to me with this person that's very close to me, where basically I tried, to be generous and offer to do something nice, which was I offered to pay for the last hotel room when we were on holiday. The first couple of hotel rooms we were in, we went halves in, and they were just like a average room. And I thought, I'll be nice, I'll offer to pay for the last room because financially I was doing well, and thought I would help them out by making it financially easier on them. So I offered, to pay for the room, and they booked it, but they decided to book a flash room on my wallet, an expensive room. So again, when we went halves in the other hotel rooms, they weren't flash. They were just like an average room. But when it was on my wallet, when I'm offering, instead of appreciating my generosity, they took advantage of it. They didn't appreciate it. They just exploited it. So that is another sign to look out for. Sign number 5 is entitlement. They believe they deserve special treatment no matter what. They think they just deserve things. They deserve to get things from other people, have people, give them gifts or money or whatever, attention, whatever. They think that they are entitled to these things without having to do anything for it, without having to work for it or earn it. They just think these things are supposed to be handed to them because in their mind, they're up on a pedestal. And they may even have this perspective that other people are like peasants below them that are supposed to just serve them. So that's another sign to look out for. Sign number 6 is manipulative behavior. They twist, guilt trip, and gaslight others to maintain control or superiority. So narcissistic people are very manipulative people, and that's why they're dangerous. I had, narcissistic people close to me manipulating me, and I had no idea. And they had been doing this to me for a very long time. And I was in a relationship with a narcissist, although at the time I didn't realize, but I was in a relationship with this guy, and he was the one that actually taught me what narcissism was, because I didn't even know it was a thing. I didn't realize there was people like this until I left that relationship and I learned about narcissism, and I was like, wow, that's what I was experiencing. And I remember during that relationship, I was quite an intuitive person before I even had my spiritual awakening. And I remember my intuition was kind of telling me that I was being manipulated. I started getting that sense within me that I'm like, I think I'm being manipulated. And I remember going onto Google and Googling signs of manipulation. So being tuned in with your intuition will be very helpful as well, when it comes to being around narcissistic energy, because you will be able to pick up on it a lot more. And, your intuition will help guide you so that you can get away from that person. Now, the 7th sign to look out for is envy and belittling others. They envy others' successes and often put people down to feel superior. And so that's what happened to me with this person that's close to me. They were talking shit behind my back to make themselves feel superior and feel above me. They also will, because I'm building an online business, so to my face, they'll act supportive when it comes to my business. Oh, how's the business going? They're being all supportive to my face, but behind my back, they talk shit about my business. So that's another behavior to look out for. So narcissistic people get jealous and envious really easily. And the way they operate is if they are jealous of you, you will have a target on your back. And this is where they may manipulate you or manipulate other people and how other people view you. And if you look like you're succeeding or like moving above them in life, if they had the opportunity to sabotage you, to bring you back down, they will. Unfortunately, that's just how narcissistic people operate. And that's why it's really helpful to know what red flags to look out for so that you can spot it early on and get away from these people. Now, the 8th sign is arrogant or haughty attitudes. They come off as condescending, dismissive, or superior. They think they're above everyone, they know everything, and the people around them don't know anything. They think they're always right, everyone else is wrong. And again, I had someone else, a different person that was close to me that was being very arrogant, especially with me building a YouTube channel and an online business. They have no idea how to build an online business or a YouTube channel. They've never done it. They haven't learned about it. And I know because I'm in a program where I'm being trained up by 2 successful YouTubers in the spirituality niche, Aaron Dowdy and Victor Odo, who are great guys, teaching all of us the ropes on how to build these businesses. Like, I know what I'm doing, but this person was treating me as if I didn't know anything. I'm like an idiot that knows nothing, and they know everything, even though they've never spent the time learning about this sort of thing, and they've never done it themselves. So arrogance is another big sign to look out for. Now, number 9 is they don't respect boundaries. They often invade personal space, ignore your limits, or overstep socially. Narcissists do not respect your boundaries. And it's like they have this sense to spot people that have weak boundaries. If they know you have weak boundaries, they're like, haha, easy target. If they sense someone has strong boundaries, they most likely won't even try it with that person. And I was the empath people pleaser that had no boundaries. And so that's why I was attracting in this narcissistic energy. I would attract in narcissistic men into relationships, or even narcissistic people as friends. And it's because I had weak boundaries. So think of strong boundaries as being a repellent for narcissists. If you're someone that has weak boundaries, then that's something that you need to work on, is just working on getting comfortable with having boundaries. And boundaries is how you teach other people how to treat you. Now, let's say you've just met someone new, maybe a potential relationship, and you're wondering, is this person a narcissist? The best way to test them is to set a boundary early on in the relationship and then see how they respond to your boundary. If they respect your boundary, your boundary is no problem, that's a green flag. But if they don't respect your boundary, or your boundary is a problem, then that's a red flag. So that's a great way to test if someone close to you is a narcissist. And the last one, number 10, is they can't handle criticism. Even light constructive feedback can spark rage, denial, or passive-aggressive behavior. And this is because narcissistic people have a fragile ego. That's where the narcissism stems from. And someone with a fragile ego cannot handle criticism, even if it's constructive. So those are the 10 classic signs of narcissistic behavior that you shouldn't ignore. Now, I wanted to make a point that all human beings are capable of occasionally having these traits. However, if someone is consistently showing these traits and they take no accountability, it's a strong sign they are a narcissistic person. So let me know in the comment section if you have dealt with narcissistic energy. And if you got value out of the video, smash that like button. I hope this video reaches as many people as it can, because I've realized that there is a lot of narcissistic energy out there, and I've realized I've had a lot of it around me without realizing it. So I really do hope this helps people become more aware so that you don't fall victim to other people's narcissistic behavior. And if you're like me, the empath that's been attracting narcissists into a relationship, I'm going to leave a follow-up video here that talks about why this happens. So check that out if you want to learn more. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Peace.